SoloQ to Mythic with all heroes! Woo! Since my beloved main Wanwan received yet another nerf, I have a great excuse to use her in this series because I wanted to try out if this nerf finally made her a balanced hero. I'm also trying out a new build for her, but before we talk about all of that, let's make the first successful gank against the revamped Hanabi. I wanted to make the match a bit harder for myself. I honestly was thinking we just go for the safe kill and focus Angela, but 𝐃𝐲𝐬𝐬 decided to go for Hanabi, which didn't work. When you gank, you better go for the safe kill and take down the support, than trying too hard to kill the enemy's marksman and fail the gank attempt. But it is what it is. Hanabi for some reason didn't recall and runs around with 30% of her HP. She will regret this in a few seconds. You can bait many inexperienced players with a gold crab. They try to steal it with a long range skill, but forget that they can be still targeted like here. Hit the slow-mo button. When engaging with Wanwan, you can just make a short jump towards the enemy like here, so you can throw your first skill behind the enemy. Then you proceed to hit all the weaknesses for the extra damage, and against low HP enemies, it's enough to take them down. Now we can get some sweet turret gold, and I noticed a little bug. This sweet turret gold you get is not being displayed anymore for some reason. Muton, if you need a new quality assurance leader, you know where to contact me. Now, since Hanabi is still missing, I quickly want to talk about the new build I'm using today. Today, I'm using golden stuff because it received a very nice buff. When the Endless Strikes passive is active, the attack speed of basic attacks can temporarily exceed the cap. You will see what this effect does later in the game. Just so much as a little spoiler, it exceeded my expectation by a lot. Since we use golden stuff though, we can't use Guarded Phantom anymore, which is part of Wanwan's usual build. So this was the item I replaced in my usual build for her. Now Hanabi and Angela are back, but they are way too careless. So much for Moonton's plan, and I quote, to make it easier for her enemies, especially marksmen, to counter her in battle. Any walking hero is still completely lost against her. I hope you also notice how I check the bush here. Always do that with Wanwan whenever there's the chance that you could get ganked. After a fight when you are low, the chances are especially high. In retrospective, I didn't need to recall here, by the way, just if you're wondering. Our Mino went very deep here, so let's cover him up a bit. I don't have my ult back yet, so I shouldn't be too aggressive, because it wouldn't be a good idea to jump in the front line now. Man, this idiot should really listen to what I'm saying. Luckily, I can remove CC effects with 1/2 skill, because otherwise I would have become cat food. Now, I still want to clear the wave, which I can do relatively safe by throwing my first skill again into the dangerous bush. My teammates leave me alone for some reason though, so I have to back out exactly before this happens. Oof. That was kinda embarrassing. Overall, it was a bit of a messy start. But 4 kills after 5 minutes ain't that bad for my farming process. Now let's talk a bit about the nerfs on Wanwan. Her first skill has a slightly longer cooldown, plus she can't stun her enemies anymore. Instead, they just get immobilized now. Is this going to affect her greatly? Well, at least not in the early game, as you will see here. In the early to mid game you have enough time to activate your ult, because the enemy's marksman can't kill you fast enough yet. So the immobilize effect is still enough to easily get your ult and wipe out a few enemies. In the late game it has a bigger effect though, because here most marksmen and burst heroes can kill you before you have your ult. The ultimate nerfs we discuss later, because firstly, we have to deal with the revamped Hanabi. Man, this new Hanabi is so underwhelming. I mean, you can see we have a huge gold lead already. But still, I tried her out a few times and I don't see why anyone should use her. Almost all marksmen are still stronger than her, which is why she has the lowest... the second lowest win rate right now. Bruh, what happened to Nathan? I don't think I ever saw such a low win rate on a hero. Anyway, back to Wanwan. We kill Hanabi once more and have only a few HP left. Since we have DHS though, we can quickly recover with some basic attacks. General advice, whenever you have a hero with lifesteal abilities, just use them to heal yourself instead of recalling. Now we can get golden stuff and finally... So, as I just said, now we can get golden stuff, and soon I can show you what this item can do for Wanwan and any other DPS hero. But before that, I quickly... When you're too farmed, you kill your enemies faster than you can activate your ult, which often brings you in this weird situation. What you should never do, by the way, is recalling in bushes when it's too obvious. I did this purely for demonstration reasons, by the way, so you learn what you should never ever do. This was all on purpose. Still, overall, we have a very nice lead over the enemy, so we can continue to dominate them. I really don't feel the effect on the old nerf too much. The chasing range is shorter, which makes it a bit harder to target enemies who are far away, but the range was too long anyway in my opinion, so this is a fair nerf. They could even lower it by 1 more point, so the enemies actually have a fair chance to escape the ult. The nerf on the attack bonus doesn't really affect it as well, because you weren't building items with huge physical attack bonuses like BUD anyway. The buff on golden stuff in combination with DHS and corrosion scythe make the ult even stronger than before though. I have 2 examples for you later that perfectly demonstrate this for you. But before I show you the old examples, just take a look what happens to Wanwan's basic attack with a new build. Look how fast she can take down the Lord. It's almost like you have Inspire activated the whole time. To demonstrate what exactly happens here, I recorded a short part in the training mode. With this new build, you have a default attack speed of 2.78. This we can increase to the max amount of 3.00 with a passive of Corrosion Scythe. Now we can use a passive of Golden Stuff to further increase the attack speed. After every 2 non-critical basic attacks, the next basic attack speed is increased by 100% and the attack speed gap is increased to 500%. This means every 3rd basic attack has an attack speed of 4.08, and if we do the math, we have a consistent attack speed of 3.36. It also triggers attack effects an additional 2 times, which means Corrosion Scythe reaches its max stacks after 3 attacks already, and the passive of DHS gets triggered 3 times in total with only 1 attack. DHS passive deals 9% of the enemy's current HP as additional damage, meaning if the enemy has 10,000 HP, they lose 2,464 HP from the passive effect of DHS alone, when the passive of Golden Stuff triggers the effect 3 times. Which is devastating for any high HP enemy, or in general for any enemy with full HP, because it makes it so much easier to take down enemies with full HP when using your ult. The increased attack speed also helps a lot to kill enemies quicker with your ult, because you need to kill 1 enemy in the first 2.5 seconds of it to create the chain reaction. By the way, a nice extra. When your attack speed is on 4.08, your movement speed is also insane. Overall, this build is a serious alternative to the usual one that involves Scarlet Phantom. Against many squishy enemies, the usual build might still work better, but against high HP enemies, I would pick the new one. Wanwan's normal basic attack is also much stronger with this build, because you can shoot it out faster. Now we still need to find out how the nerf on her first skill affects her late game, plus we have to end and win this match. The enemy has no real frontliner where I can easily activate my ult, so it's generally going to be hard to activate it, because they damage me a lot before I even get close to them. If they are willing to come that close to me though, I thankfully take the free kill. Hey, come back here!
Why are you running? Why are you running?
I by the way decided to get Harsh Claws instead of Malefic Roar, because the enemies have almost no physical defensive items. Here you can see again how insane a normal basic attack is with this build. We really need to push the last turrets away, so let me just quickly do this with my insane basic attack and... Bruh. Well, you should never forget that Wanwan is squishy AF. I certainly forgot this easy to remember fact here. What is not helping as well is that my team decides to gank in a 4v5 and fails hard. So, I guess this one mistake will cost us the match now. I love Wanwan! Now where's Zask? I want my Savage! there you are! Come here! Does this still count as a savage? I would love to finish the game now, but since 3 enemies are respawning soon and I have no ult, I can't do that yet. It's a common mistake that you run into the respawning enemies after a wipeout, while your skills are still on cooldown. Hilda and Nana decided to do a 1v5, which didn't work out of course. So we're in a tricky situation now. I have a really hard time to activate my ult because no one is making any engage that would help me to do that. So I basically have to wait that an enemy is careless enough to run into me alone, which none of them does. So we just stall the game and wait that the Lord spawns, which is happening now. But we're in a disadvantage. Hilda just respawned and Nana only have 50% HP. My plan was to quickly activate my ult and wipe out the enemy again, but I failed to do that. 𝐴𝐻𝐻 died without using his ult, Mino died as well, and Nana is almost dead. I pause at this point because now I want to ask you, what would you do in this situation? So, we have no jungler anymore, so we can't secure the Lord. I also can't jump into the fight now, because if I die and the enemy takes the Lord, it's GG. When you look at the map though, you can see that the mid lane wave is coming, and that the top and bot wave is also rolling. So I decided to abandon the idea of getting the Lord and go straight for the base. Okay, let's go! That's a wrap, GG. Another MVP. So, is Wanwan balanced now? Not at all. She's still by far the most OP hero to rank up in SoloQ, because she's still the only hero who can easily wipe out the entire enemy team. Another thing that makes you OP is checking out this video, where I explain which 10 mistakes you have to avoid at all costs to easily rank up till mythical glory in SoloQ. See you over there!